Good evening, everyone. I'm so glad that you're here. This was kind of a late, on my part, my bad, last minute live stream, because when I woke up this morning, for some reason I was thinking it was Wednesday. So I was finishing up preparing the slideshow and everything for this case and was going to schedule it for tomorrow, for Thursday. And then when I went to schedule it, I realized it was Thursday. So who knows? I wake up in a new world every day, I think. But anyway, we're going to go with it. I know there are a lot of, I didn't realize there are a lot of creators that were going to go live at the same time I am, but that's fine. Anybody who can't make it to my live can always watch it on replay. For anybody new here, welcome to Southern Gal True Crime. We are very happy to have you here. I'll wait and see if some more people roll in here. I know I got a couple of people in here already, and I'll get to them. But if this is your first time here, I share missing persons, cold cases, some current true crime in the news. Most of the cases that I share are the ones that don't get the national attention or even the local attention that they deserve. So that's kind of what I stick to around here. Sometimes on our weekend True Crime After Darks and things of that nature, we'll talk about some of the current cases in the news that we've been following. So, like I said, so if you're new here, if that sounds like your cup of tea, please consider subscribing. Like, share, comment, all those things help small channels like mine get this very important information out to as many people as possible. If you ever need to contact me, you see my email address there on the screen. Any questions, comments you may have, any cases that you may know the victim, it may have happened in your hometown, home state, or just a case that you think needs more attention, please email it to me and I will do my best to research it and share it in some way, whether it be a case of the week, included in my missing persons. I will definitely get it shared. Just be patient. I've got a backlog of requests. And I'm trying to get to, I'm going to get to all of them. But just have patience and I'll eventually get to them. You can find me on Facebook. I have a group and a page. The group is actually more active than the page. I post everything in the group. Some things I post on the page. And I do post things in the group and on the page that I don't put here on YouTube, so you get some extra content. As far as supplemental articles, I list all my missing persons in the group. I try to list them on the page as well, but with trying to do with real life going on, and then trying to do get content, get these stories out to you guys. It's hard to keep up with a group and a page, so I've concentrate mostly on posting things in the group. And I believe I think I forgot to put it in the description section of the live stream, but you can find the link to the group and the page in the about section of my channel. And once again, I don't know if my second self is going to work, but we will see. If not, we'll do it as I call old school. from my phone. It's just easier to control things through StreamYard on my laptop. But Arctic is here. Thank you very much, Arctic, for being here. Always good to have you here. Please check out Arctic Thoughts True Crime. He has a great channel. He does great work. He puts out, I don't know how many videos a day of missing persons. He does a wonderful job. Let me go take my banner down if it didn't already go. Oh, okay. I guess it took itself down. Once again. Okay, I don't think it's showing. Anyway, all right. Let me see if I can get to some comments. Chris is here. Welcome, Chris. Always good to have you here. Once again, I can do it for my phone. There's Chris. Hey, Chris. Good to have you here. Thank you very much, Arctic, for sharing it out. Always appreciative of everybody who shares my upcoming videos or live streams. Very much appreciated. It does help the channel, but more importantly, in helping the channel, it helps. I can't say it enough. I'm like a broken record with it. The more that these live streams and videos from not just me, but from all true crime creators who do it for the right reasons, the more you share us out, the more people that are aware of these cold cases, these missing persons, and that is the most important thing. All right, let's see who else we got. Hello, Miss Peggy. Glad to have you here. I don't know if it's coming up. I don't have full screen on my phone yet because I'm having to read comments. Good to have you here, Miss Peggy. You made a live, your first live. Welcome. I'm glad you made it to your first live. Like I said, this was kind of a last minute on my part because I couldn't remember what day it was. But glad to have you here, ma'am. Michigan Wifey, one of my OGs. Good to have you here. Says the few, I made it, everyone. Or hello, everyone. Always good to have a Michigan Wifey here. That says she's one of my OGs. She's been with me since the beginning, before I even started doing live streams. Whenever I'd upload a video, she would be sometimes the only one or the first one to comment on it, like it. So I just appreciate Michigan Wifey so much. And everybody else, of course, that cares too, likes, shares, comments, all those good things. It's always appreciated. Trying to get let's see if I'm make sure I'm not missing any comments before we get into it. Yeah, once again, my swamp signal apparently is not working too well tonight. But anyway, we will start out with I got a couple of good endings to some missing teens that I had featured, and then of course I have some current missing to feature. Oh goodness. Arctic says that he's recovering from surgery. Be glad when I can get these stitches out in 2 weeks. Feel like a complete invalid. Can't lift more than 10 pounds or being. Oh my goodness. God bless you. Thoughts, prayers, and good vibes. I don't want to be nosy, but if you feel comfortable, what kind of surgery did you have to have? I didn't know you were going to have surgery, sir. Goodness gracious. I hope you get to feeling better soon. All righty. Let's see if it'll do it from here. Here we go. So I'd featured Talon Hall a few times. When I checked for updates today or last night, maybe he has been found safe. That is always good to hear when we have our missing, especially our teens that are found safe. We have Allison LaRue. I was so glad to see that she had been found safe once again. But Allison is another one. She's just 14 years old. She had gone missing from Hot Springs. I've seen one with the other Braylon Perkins, I believe it was. Allison was another one that I've noticed that has been listed as missing or run away several times. So whatever situations are going on in both of those households with Allison and Braylon, I hope they get straightened out. Hope I hope they're being without trying to see how I can phrase this. I hope they're being checked out just to make sure that everything is kosher. Let me put it that way. Let's see. Lisa Joe, welcome. Good to have you here. A new face, a new name. I always say new face, a new avatar, but I think most of the time you put a lot of y'all put your name or your faces on your avatar. So good to have you here, Lisa Joe. If you don't mind letting us know how you found us. But however you found us, we're glad that you're here. Once again, I should have put my hair back. I'm going to be brushing it out of my face. Oh, goodness. Okay. Arctic says that he had to have 2 skin cancers cut out of my back. Oh, bless your heart. Yeah, my middle brother, here not too long ago, had to have some cut off of his face. So I wish you, hope you get to feeling better soon, sir. Ah, all right. Miss Lisa Jones says, I'm a family member of Barbara Louise Cotton. I'm also the genealogist that found Melissa Highsmith. Excellent. And Chris invited you. Thank you so much for being here, Miss Lisa. And thank you, Chris, for inviting her. Always good to have experts in here. She says she's a genealogist. Excellent, excellent. Good to have you here, ma'am. All right, we will get to. Now we're missing. We have Tatiana Pratt. She went missing from Hot Springs on April 7th of this year. She is just 13 years old. A black female, 4'9", 105 pounds. Black hair, brown eyes. It says she was last seen in Hot Springs, but is believed to be in the Little Rock area. So anyone from the Hot Springs area up to the Little Rock area, anywhere in between, please keep your eye out. And if you have any information on Tatiana, please contact the Hot Springs Police Department at 501-321-6789. And now I'm going to have to go to my large version of my slideshow on my computer so I can read the little writing on these flyers. I actually snagged these 2 from a couple of the Facebook groups I'm in, missing persons groups I'm in. And I noticed that Arctic, I believe, had featured Brittany, the one on the left, Brittany Sturgill, a couple of days ago. She is a critically missing adult. She is 33, red hair, hazel eyes, 5'4", 192 pounds. This is out of Virginia. It says the Virginia State Police issued a critically missing adult alert on behalf of the Newport News Police Department for a missing 33-year-old female. Brittany Sturgill was last seen at around 5 p.m. on Tuesday, April 9th, on the 1000 block of Willow Green Drive, which is in Newport News, Virginia. She is possibly wearing tan and black shoes, blue jeans, and a tie-dye shirt over a tan shirt. So anybody with information on her whereabouts is asked to call the Newport News Police Department at 757-247-2500. And on the right, we have Roderick Casey Dura. I believe, because there were 2 separate flyers that were in the one post that I found on him in whichever group it was that I found it in. I took this one because it had the most information, but I believe it said he's been missing since March 21st. This is out of, where's it out of? Spartanburg County. Yeah, like I said, the 2 flyers that I found, one had when he was missing and one had this information about what he was wearing. I'm not sure exactly where Spartanburg County is. So Arctic or anybody, if you know of this one, please let me know what state it is out of. He is Roderick is 5'8", 150 pounds, brown hair or brown eyes, black hair with braids. He has visible tattoos on both arms, a Mickey Mouse, a rose, and music notes. Last place he was seen was dropped off on Shady Acres. I was in South Carolina. If I would have just kept reading, dropped off on Shady Acres Road in Cowpens, South Carolina. So this is out of South Carolina. Last seen wearing a black sleeveless shirt, green shorts, black slides, dark gray, carrying a dark gray book bag, and possibly a jacket. So if you have any information on the whereabouts or the disappearance of Roderick, please contact Spartanburg County Sheriff's Office at 864-503-4300. All right, so back over here and see if welcome, Critter Critiques. Good to have you here. Another new name. Always good to have new names here. Once again, if you would like, tell us how you found us. I'm sure somebody invited you. So, or sometimes I ask people how they found us, and they say, "Oh, I just happened to come across your channel," which is, like I said, however you find us, we're very glad that you're here. Absolutely. Critter says, "I hope everyone is having a great evening." I'm having a good evening, although I think I should have opened my window before I started this because I'm sweating already. But it's probably 70 or 80% humidity outside here in Arkansas right now, so I don't think opening the window would do a lot of good. But anyway, and Critter Critiques say, "Oh wow, I live near Spartanburg County. I haven't heard of this." Yeah, that's the unfortunate thing is there's so many, and Arctic and Chris and everybody here can attest to the fact that there are just so many missing that it's just so hard to. I mean, we couldn't, if we were on here 24/7 or putting out posts, of these flyers, we would not probably be able to put half of the missing up, and it's just so I don't want to say disheartening, but it's just so frustrating sometimes that I wish I could devote doing this full time. Unfortunately, I can't because I have to have money to live on. But we just get on here and we do the best we can between our YouTube channels, our Facebook groups, and all other social media platforms, which I don't have any other social media platform except Facebook and YouTube. But I know that Arctic, I believe, is on maybe Twitter and maybe sometimes Instagram. But he does a good job on his Facebook page and on his community page and on his YouTube channel of getting just getting as many missing out there as he can. Yes, thank you, Chris. Chris, South Carolina. Thank you. All right. Oh, Critter also says that they are in the Cowpens. Yeah, so you haven't heard anything on the local news? Like I said, a lot of these missing, unfortunately, and I understand that's their job. Local news media get their ratings by putting the big stories out, and a lot of times doesn't leave a lot of time to put the missing out. Now, I do have on one of our local, it's our CBS affiliate here, THV 11 here in Arkansas or Central Arkansas. They do a good job. I do have their app on my phone, and I'm always getting notifications. They are very good at putting out information on their app, notifications about the missing. So I try to, whenever I get a notification from them, check it. And if it's a missing, I'll get get it screenshotted and get it put up on my Facebook group and on my community page here on YouTube. Once again, I apologize for my scratchy throat. I think I'm getting over the crud, whatever I had, but with the allergies, it wreaks havoc. Oh, excellent. Critter said that I popped up on the feed. Excellent, excellent, excellent. I'm glad that YouTube is finally pushing maybe my channel's getting enough subscribers and likes and shares that it's pushing it out into people's news feeds. I'm glad to hear that. Just for the fact that, like I said, it helps this information reach more people. Yeah, Miss Peggy says that she found me or found us as a community. It's not just me. And through Steve and Chris. Excellent. Yeah, Mr. Steve. I didn't get a chance. Mr. Steve from True Crime Web. Another. If you don't check out any other channels besides Arctic, please check out Mr. Steve at True Crime Web. He has been a great inspiration to me when I started my channel, a mentor. He's helped me in a lot of ways. He's let me be a guest on his show a few months ago to talk about a case that was dear to my heart. So Mr. Steve and True Crime Web and Mrs. Steve, we can't forget Mrs. Steve. Excellent channel. Probably the best one out there. Arctic says that he couldn't live in a town of 100. I'd be insane. Oh, wow, Lisa Jo. Okay, so that Lisa Jo said, I think my population is like 100. Oh, wow, I thought I lived in a small town. The town I live in is less than, we may be barely pushing 2,000, but yeah, I couldn't imagine living in a town of just 100. Although it might be nice. It might be nice. I'm not a big city girl. I was born here in the town I live in, lived here all my life, lived down on the farm. Of course, we're just about 5 minutes away from town. The big town that I live in. But I wouldn't have it any other way. I don't think I could live in a big city. Excellent. Edgar said they were going to look more about it. Excellent. Yeah, Chris says his town has around 9,200. Yeah, and and that to me, that's a big town, but technically it would be considered a small town. I'm assuming, it's all relative. That's what I say. It's all relative. All right. I think that is all the missing. So the way that we're going to do this, the way that I've been doing when I do a live stream for either my missing person Monday or my case of the week, is I'm going to go through, do the presentation. I have a slideshow presentation with information. I'm going to do the presentation. While I'm doing the presentation, if you have any questions, comments, anything, pop them in the chat. Or if you're watching on replay, please do comment. And thank you to everybody who's watching replay. And when I get through giving all the information, I will go back out and go through all the comments, scroll back up to the top and go through all the comments and the questions that we have or that any of you guys may have. That way, anybody who doesn't want to stick around for the comments and the questions part of the show, at least they get all the information about this case at one time. And like I said, if they don't want to stick around for the comments and questions, that's perfectly fine. The most important part of this is for them to get the information. So let me take my phone screen full screen, if it will cooperate with me. Oh, goodness. Once again, it is not cooperating with me. It's cutting off half the slide. There we go. All right, so the case we're going to be talking about tonight is an Arkansas case. It is the case of Tracy Onawa Jones, and this happened in North Little Rock, Arkansas, Memphis, Tennessee in 2006. She disappeared from North Little Rock, Arkansas, and her body was actually found, I believe, south of Memphis. And I will give you, of course, all that information and the details on that. I had done a brief video, I believe, on this probably early on when I started my channel, but I've always kept her information bookmarked in my phone, and I was when I was scrolling through my phone looking at my bookmarks and everything, I came across her name, and it's coming up on 20 years. In November of this year, 2024, it'll be 18 years. There's still her case has not been resolved. No persons of interest, no suspects, nobody ever arrested or charged. It's been a couple of years. I think the last time, going through articles, the last time that anything about her case was mentioned was back in 2022. And before that, it had been 2017. And I believe in 2017, that's the first time that I could find that her case had been brought up since it happened in 2006. So I thought, I wanted to throw it out there tonight, get Tracy's name and face back out there. Hopefully, if not generate any leads, at least, like I said, get her name out there, her face out there, her story back out there. And just to keep it in the forefront. Maybe it will jog somebody's memory. It just takes the least little thing to jog somebody's memory, and maybe make them remember something small. And nothing is ever too small. No bit of information is ever too small, especially in these cold cases. So Tracy was actually born in San Bernardino, California on September 28th, 1987. She had blonde hair, brown eyes. She was at the time she went missing. She was 5'4", 110 pounds, white female, white Hispanic heritage. She did have a tattoo of sunflowers and leaves in the small of her back, and a cherry stem with 2 cherries above her right hip. And the reason I give this information, even though Tracy's body was found, is that the physical description, any scars, tattoos, those things also help jog people's memory. They may have seen her at the truck stop. They may have seen her, although I'm doubting that, in my opinion, that when she was taken from the truck stop, I doubt that anybody saw her. But you never know. Between when she was taken in North Little Rock from Galloway at the truck stop to where they ultimately found her body, probably a slim chance that anybody saw her, but just on the off chance that they did, or might jog the memory of anybody who saw her at the Galloway truck stop that day. That's why I give this physical description and any identifying marks. So Tracy was 19 years old when she was last seen on November 15th. It was on a Wednesday, 2006. At the Pilot Travel Center at the Galloway exit off of I-40, which is a major interstate, goes from west coast to east coast, runs basically right through the center of Arkansas. One of the biggest interstate, coast-to-coast interstate highways in the U.S. Lots of truckers use it, trucking routes, delivering goods. Very, very busy interstate. So as I said, I gave you the physical description of Tracy. She was last seen wearing a dark blue Georgia Tech hoodie and white tennis shoes, and her hair was pulled back in a ponytail. Now I can tell you, I live not too far. The town I live in, Galloway, is actually between the town I live in and North Little Rock, the North Little Rock area. So we haven't stopped there in a while, but back years ago when me and my baby brother and sister-in-law, we would go to concerts all the time in North Little Rock. And usually on our way back, we would stop at Galloway to either get gas, get something to drink, a snack, whatever the case may be. And it has grown exponentially since back in probably the 90s, early 2000s. It is always busy. You have at least one or two truck stops there. The Pilot Travel Center is probably the biggest one there. Now when we stopped there, we would not stop at the Pilot truck stop. Actually, across the street is just a regular gas station, and that's where we would stop. Galloway is basically just a little, like they said, just a little white spot on the road on 40 for truckers, for interstate travelers to stop, fuel up, get snacks, use the restroom, whatever the case may be. Very busy, so it would be very easy for somebody to disappear from this area and somebody not know it until that person is missed. And I can also tell you that all of the times that we have stopped there across the street at the regular gas station, there is always a police officer of some sort there, especially if it's after dark. So that kind of gives you a little, I wouldn't consider it the safest place to be, especially if you are, for anybody traveling alone, especially if you're a female traveling alone or even two females traveling alone. If you stop there, I would stop there during the day. I wouldn't stop there at night, but just to give you an idea of the area. So Tracy actually had last been living in Albany, New York. She had joined this traveling magazine sales crew, and I'm trying to think back to, and this is in 2006. I don't remember. Of course, I didn't frequent a lot of truck stops and stuff back then, but I don't remember seeing people at gas stations, truck stops, selling magazine subscriptions. But apparently, and we'll get into a little bit of statistics about and some of the dangers, obviously, that are associated with this type of work. I would say you would very rarely or never see it done these days. But nonetheless, she was working with this traveling sales crew. Her employer, who's also her boyfriend, Robert Blair, had dropped her off to sell these magazine subscriptions. This Galloway, I just call it the Galloway exit. We just call it Galloway around these parts. It was well frequented by what they call the average Joes, meaning just travelers passing through. And then, of course, it was frequented by the truck drivers because of the truck stops. So it was said that she had been seen talking to just, average people, normal people, and travelers. But she had also been seen talking to truckers in and out that day as well. When Robert, the manager, or the manager / boyfriend, called her to be picked up later that day, there was no answer. And when we get to some later slides, you're going to find out that it's very unusual for Tracy not to answer her phone when either Robert called or her mom called or her sister called. Very unusual for her not to answer the phone. And her mother, I just found these quotes, and I have put all these sources that I used for this in the description section, so feel free to go and read all the articles. But I pulled this from one of the articles. Her mother had made the quote or a comment that she said, "I wish now that I'd said no to it, but she really was at an age that she didn't need my consent," which is true. Tracy was 19, a legal adult. She could do what she wanted. And apparently she thought it was safe enough because they traveled in a group. Although apparently, from what I can gather, how many ever people were in this traveling group, they would drop maybe one person off at different places to sell magazines for a certain period of time. So that was the dangerous part, in my opinion. The most dangerous part is being alone. And it says that this concept seems crazy now, which it does. Like I said, I don't think you would ever see anything like this happening these days, which is just my opinion. But apparently back then, they said it was fairly common. Said that Tracy had been to Galloway, the truck stop, before on previous occasions. So it was not her first time there. So that means she was probably pretty well familiar with at least that area. And it says that she was dropped off around noon. And I don't remember, it may say in some later slides what time that Robert had called to see if she was ready to be picked up, and when she didn't answer. So the following day, so that day, and I think I'm going to say it was around maybe 5 or 6 o'clock when Robert called and didn't get an answer from Tracy to say that she was ready to be picked up. I'm sure he made more than one phone call trying to find her. But since he hadn't heard from her by the following day on the 16th, he reached out to Tracy's mom, who was in Oregon. And unfortunately, Tracy's mom passed away in 2022. So unfortunately, she passed away without ever getting any answers about what happened to her daughter. I'm unsure if Tracy's father was still alive or in the picture. I believe it mentioned that Tracy has a sister. But Robert had reached out to Tracy's mom to ask if Tracy's mom had heard from Tracy. She said no, she hadn't heard from her. So an official report was made by Robert, I'm assuming a missing persons report, on the 17th. Robert and Tracy's mom, they tried to get authorities immediately to have the news spread awareness about Tracy's disappearance, to at least put a picture up. But by the time that local news media had put Tracy's picture up, her body had unknowingly, unfortunately, already been found around close to Memphis, Tennessee. So on the left-hand side, where that red pin is, that is not the exact place where Tracy's body was found. Just the general area, because it was hard to pin down, because it said that her body was found off of Highway 61 in the area of South 3rd Street and near Westview, which is in Memphis. I believe it is south of Memphis. So I just found a Westview Road there. You can see to the west, and then 61 there to the east. So I'm assuming it is somewhere in that area where they found her body. As you can tell, this is just a screenshot I took off of Google Maps GPS. Not a lot of no buildings there, no gas stations, no businesses. So it would unfortunately be what you would call the perfect place to dump a body. So Tracy's body was found 11 days later on November 26th, which was a Sunday. It was approximately 3:50 p.m. in the afternoon. She'd been left in a ditch. It was in a semi-wooded area, like I said, off of Highway 61 in the area of South 3rd Street near Westview. The location, now I do say the location that her body was discovered was not her place where she passed away. And we'll go into, a little bit later, we'll go into the reasons. But anybody who follows true crime can probably tell you the reason that they are pretty much sure or know that this was not the place where her life was taken. And I forgot to put I should have put up my trigger warning banner. I'm trying not to get too graphic, but it's disturbing nonetheless. When Tracy was found, she was partially nude. She had been bound with tape. She had been SA'd. and she had several stab wounds to her head and body. The cause of her death was blunt force head trauma. So not only did she have stab wounds, she had head trauma, and the coroner, ME, whoever it was, ultimately decided that the blunt force head trauma was the cause, was the COD. So who found Tracy? How did they find her? I'm unclear on that. All I could find was that on around, like I said, 3 p.m. on November 26th, the Memphis Police Department Rains Station officers responded to a 911 call regarding that the body of a female had been discovered in the area of South 3rd Street near Westview. It showed in the early slide that it said it was a semi-wooded, and I do have a video clip that I'm going to play later. It kind of gives you of course, not a close-up, but a kind of a further back view of when they found her body, and you can tell it's very grassy. So I'm just assuming that maybe a passerby. Now, I don't know how close. It just said it was right off of the freeway. So I'm going to assume that maybe where she was found might have been close to a business or some houses of some type. And you'll understand a little bit better when you see the clip. Somebody had to have seen her somehow, walked upon her, and found her. That's the only explanation I can come up with. So, of course, more officers arrived on the scene. They found her body. As we talked about, she had sustained several knife wounds, blunt force trauma. The Shelby County Medical Examiner ruled her passing as a homicide due to head trauma. Police did confirm her identity through family members and missing persons reports that were filed, presumably the missing person report that was filed by Robert. And even today, and I think this article is from probably 2006 when it happened, or maybe 2017 when they started looking into the case again. But they said the resulting investigation is ongoing, and no suspects have been identified, and that still holds true. Unfortunately, like I said, in 2024, near almost 18 years later, unfortunately, no persons of interest, no suspects, nothing. So the way that they officially identified Tracy is apparently because we had Robert Blair that filed the missing persons report on the 16th or 17th of November, but apparently the day after they found Tracy, which was on, I believe, the 25th of November, on that Sunday, apparently that Monday, Robert Blair was, he said he was in town for questioning. I'm assuming that he was in Little Rock, North Little Rock. And he says that he was devastated when police showed him an email that they had received from Memphis police. According to him, the photos that it showed in the email showed photos of Tracy's necklace that he had bought for her, pictures of her tattoos, and unfortunately, apparently it showed a picture of Tracy deceased. So that is how she was identified. I just could not imagine being her manager, boyfriend, somebody who knew her very well. I just could not imagine having to identify her. But fortunately, she was found and identified, because a lot of these cases end up where the victim is the missing or never found, or it is years and years and years later. This was within the same month, about a 3-week period, that they did find Tracy. So if there is a silver lining, that would be it. Sergeant Terry Kuykendall of the North Little Rock Police Department are helping authorities. They helped authorities in Memphis retrace Tracy's final steps. And the biggest mystery then and now is where exactly Tracy lost her life. So in my opinion, and please let me know in comments in chat or in comments if you're watching replay. In my opinion, I'm not a professional, but I try to retain information from what I learn from professionals like Mr. Steve from True Crime Web and others that I watch. I would say, and the three possibilities of who did this, not specifically who did it, but it was either, and I think this is a general consensus from law enforcement and the investigators, is that either it was a truck driver, possibly it was mentioned, and we'll get into it later in the slideshow, possibly a serial offender. To me, that would be low, probably the lowest on my list, or somebody, just a crime of opportunity from not necessarily a truck driver, but somebody else who happened to be at the truck stop at the same time Tracy was, had nefarious intentions and saw an opportunity and somehow lured her into a vehicle and took off with her. Out of the three, I put truck driver at the top of my list. Because once again, when we get into some more slides, it would be very easy for Tracy, because I believe, and we'll get to the slide in a minute, it said that she was known, and I'm assuming she's not the only one, that all of these young people who did this would often get into the cabs of the truck, so that the truck drivers could sign the paperwork to pay for the magazines or to order the magazines or however it worked. So I can very easily see a scenario of a truck driver saying, yeah, I want to buy these magazines or sign up for a subscription or however it worked. She got into the cab for him to sign the paperwork, and could very easily, because even though she was stabbed, it did say that her COD was attributed to blunt force trauma. But I could see the scenario if she's in the truck, the doors are shut, and she could have been hit over the head with something to knock her out in the beginning, thrown in the back of the truck, and the truck driver drives off, and nobody is the wiser. Anybody who's ever seen, and I wish I could have found or remembered to go back and find some more pictures of Galloway, of the truck stop, because it is because you have the gas station part. Inside of it, there's a restaurant called the Iron Skillet. I actually had a friend that I went to high school with that worked at the Iron Skillet there for a few years. She doesn't work there anymore. But other than that, it's just a big, open, concrete parking lot with God knows how many trucks in it. And if anybody's been around 18-wheelers, semis, you know how loud they are. Most of the time they leave their engines running. So if Tracy screamed inside the truck, it would be, in my opinion, it would be very hard for somebody to hear that, unless there was a truck just right up next to and happen to hear. But just my gut instinct, once again, this is just my opinion, my gut instinct is that it is possibly was a truck driver. Like I said, that is just my opinion, and I would love to know what you guys think. All right, I'm going to play you a video clip now, and I will mute my mic and my cam while I do this, because it's about a 3-minute video. This is from, I believe, 2017. 2016, 2017. It says it has been, this is from THV11.com. It happened in 2006. But I'm thinking this article and this video is, I think, from 2017. But it says it's been 10 years since Tracy Jones' life was taken. 2017, for some reason, although it's good that it did, it sparked a new effort from the FBI to bring her offender to justice. It says the FBI is falling back on what they call old school police methods to solve a cold case. The special agent, Jerry Spurgers, who you will see in the video, said it is really kind of an old school way of doing things, but we are knocking on doors, looking at physical paper receipts, trying to identify who the receipt belonged to. So that the way it may just be the way it was worded, but when he said looking at paper receipts and who the receipts belong to, made me think that they possibly could have found something, some kind of receipt that might be connected to Tracy somehow, or a possible person of interest regarding Tracy. They put up billboards along the highway. Of course, they put up missing person posters at all the local police departments, and I'm sure at Galloway and at all the any truck stop, gas station, wide spot in the road between Galloway and Memphis. And a drive time between Galloway into Memphis is roughly an hour and a half to 2 hours, depending on traffic and the constant road construction that's always going on there. So it's not too awful far. So I'm sure they plastered with the billboards and the missing persons, like I said, from Galloway into Memphis. So I will have to back out and do it from my phone. I'm going to mute out my cam and my mic and while I play this video, but I will be back, hopefully, unless I push the wrong button and kick myself out.
A woman last seen at a North Little Rock truck stop found more than a week later dead in a ditch in Memphis. This story, which first made headlines in 2006, is once again drawing the attention of the FBI. THV 11's Winnie Wright tells us why this cold case is again top of the mind for special agents.
A 19-year-old girl seeing the world for the first time, found bound and murdered on the side of the road in Memphis. It has been 10 years since Tracy Jones was killed, sparking a new effort from the FBI to bring her killer to justice. The FBI falling back on old-school police methods to solve a cold case growing colder by the day.
It really is kind of as people like to say, an old-school way of doing things. But you're knocking on doors, you're looking at physical paper receipts to try to identify who the receipt belonged to.
Billboards along the highway, seeking information posters at local police departments. Those are ways crimes were solved back in 2006 when Tracy Onawa Jones disappeared. And it's the way the FBI is hoping to solve her case today. On November 15th, 2006, Tracy Jones was selling magazines at this Pilot gas station off I-40 near Galloway. It's the last place the 19-year-old would be seen alive.
On November the 26th, the same year, a body was found in Memphis that is later determined to be Tracy Jones. This body had been dumped in kind of off of Highway 61, sort of in the south part of Memphis.
She always had her cell phone on her ear, practically glued to it. And her sister and I and some of her friends have been trying to get a hold of her, and there was no answer, and that's just not like her.
The Oregon teen traveled with a group of magazine salespeople cross-country. It's something that seems like a crazy idea now, but was fairly common then.
Tracy had been to this truck stop on previous occasions, and she was dropped off at about noon that day by her boyfriend, who was also her manager.
Because Tracy was bound and also last seen at a truck stop, the FBI considered that her murder could be the work of a serial killer. Profilers in Quantico investigated that possibility, but came up with no match.
Back in 2006, and really from 2000 on, there was a truck stop prostitute initiative that was being conducted between us, Oklahoma, Mississippi, and several states, and where we had individuals being abducted from truck stops. But the MO on those did not match up exactly with what we had with Tracy.
The case has haunted Special Agent Jerry Spurgers, who worked the case then, and is reinvigorating efforts to bring her case to light yet again.
The idea of a 19-year-old person, being killed this far from home and her parents, I try to put myself in what those parents are going through, and I just kind of feel obligated to do anything I can to try to help them.
I hope he gets his heart straight with the Lord. That's all I can say is because that was horrible what he did.
The FBI is offering a reward up to $15,000 for information that leads to the arrest of Tracy's killer. If you have any information, contact the Little Rock FBI field office.
All right.
All right, that was, move that. Right layout back up. There we go. Oh, watch out, guys. This is going to turn into a dumpster fire. I'm pushing the wrong buttons. I was getting it full screen so I could read my slides. So that was Special Agent Spurgers that you saw there on the video. He, I believe, has been worked this case from the beginning, and at least until 2017, maybe until 2022 when they did, and we'll get into that too. It seems like once every 2 or 3 years, her case is brought back up. 2022, they come out with some new information. Just some information I thought was interesting from this interview, from this video clip. Was, like I said earlier, he said it wasn't unusual for Tracy to get into the cab of a truck so that the drivers could sign their paperwork, pay for the magazines. That is one reason that, in my opinion, it's very high on my list that it was possibly a truck driver. Like I explained earlier, if she, she willingly got into the cab of the truck, closed the door. Somebody with a nefarious intention saw an opportunity, possibly hit her over the head, incapacitated her in some way, at least enough to throw her in because usually these trucks have if they have the sleeper cabs, what they call the sleeper cabs, throw her in the back and just pull out of the truck stop and be on 40 and be on their way, and she's never seen again. Fortunately, she was found. You also noted, and the voice that you heard on the phone was Tracy's mom. This was before Tracy's mom passed away. As you heard her say, Tracy always had her cell phone to her ear, glued to her. She was never without it. So that's why they got very worried when they called. She didn't answer the phone. They knew that she would always answer the phone. That goes to victimology. So of course, when she didn't answer the phone, obviously they got worried. Also, it is interesting that her mother said that she had been told that Tracy would be with the group at all times. Now, that's one thing that concerns me, is if they told her mother or told the young people, the people that went out and sold these magazine subscriptions, that they would always be in groups, but yet I'm assuming they would just drop off maybe one, maybe two at each place. And I don't know how far apart they would drop off, how many people were in the group. But apparently on this particular day, Tracy was dropped off by herself at Galloway. Maybe, like I said, we mentioned earlier that they mentioned it was not Tracy's first time to be at Galloway. So maybe she felt comfortable being left there by herself. Nothing had ever happened there that had scared her or concerned her about being there by herself. This is just speculation and assumption on my part. But I would think that if Tracy would have felt uncomfortable being left there by herself, that she may have requested that somebody be left there with her, at least one other person, and in my opinion, if this was going on back in the day, in my opinion, that's just my opinion, that they should use the buddy system, at least have two people there at the same place. Like I said, that's just my opinion. Feel free to leave my comment in the chat. Let me know what you guys think, or leave a comment if you're watching replay. Other things I found interesting, they mentioned about the possibly being a serial offender that was responsible. They said because she was bound, last seen at a truck stop. The FBI, I think, just briefly considered that it could have been a serial offender. As you heard them say in the video clip, profilers did investigate that angle, came up with no matches for, I'm assuming, any known serial offenders or any other, maybe not known serial offenders, but any other cases of young women disappearing from around this area at the same time. Maybe they didn't come up with any matches. And they also mentioned, Special Agent Spurger said that back in 2006, from 2000 to 2006, they had this truck stop initiative, he called it, that was being conducted jointly with Arkansas, Oklahoma, Mississippi, other states, where they did have individuals being abducted from truck stops. Apparently, Tracy did not fit the profile for the type of individuals that were being abducted. So they basically ruled her out from that. I'm assuming ruled her out from that angle. Trying to look and see. Read my notes here, my slides, to make sure I don't miss anything. Special Agent Spurger said a 19-year-old person life being taken this far from home. I think the same thing too. Try to put myself in those parents' shoes and what they're going through, and I just could not imagine with Tracy's mom, her sister, her father, other family members, being so far away in Oregon at the time. I just could not imagine what they're going through, what they went through. Just could not imagine it. It breaks my heart. Sergeant or Special Agent Spurger said that this case had haunted him since the day he was assigned to the case. And then I'm imagining if he is still alive, I think an article I read that he is retired now. I'm sure it still haunts him. All these special agents, FBI agents, detectives, any law enforcement that work on cases like this that go for so long without being solved, it sticks with them. It sticks with them, never leaves them. Tracy's mother said that she had made peace with the situation. She has left judgment up to the good Lord, whatever higher power you believe in. And you heard in the news clip, they asked her what she would tell Tracy's offender if she could speak to him today. She said, quote, "I hope he can get his heart straight with the Lord, because that is horrible what he did." You can't put it any simpler than that. Very horrible. A monster did this. That's the only word I can use for it, a monster. Just so very sad. All right, so we're going to fast forward to 2000, I believe it was 2022. They started with some information maybe that they had found during the investigation, or re-looking into the investigation once again in 2022. The FBI stated that it was looking at the trucking industry for possible suspect in Tracy's homicide. And FBI officials said that they now believed, as of 2022, that the person or persons responsible for Tracy's death may be associated with the trucking industry. Little Rock FBI Public Affairs Officer Connor Hagan said that he couldn't reveal much information, details about why they believe the suspect may be a trucker, citing ongoing investigation. But he did say that because Tracy was last seen along Interstate 40 and her body was found near the same interstate, he said, quote, "It makes us think that the person we're looking for could be in the trucking industry." He went on to say, however, that, quote, "We don't believe that the suspect is in Arkansas. We think they are most likely elsewhere." And that is true. If it is a trucker, and once again, if this person, I'm going to say him because statistically, it is most likely a male or males. if they have the same route, if 40, which is a major trucking route, like I said, once again, what runs from West Coast to East Coast, this person, this offender could be anyone, anywhere. Just because she was kidnapped, abducted from Galloway, her body was found hour and a half, 2 hours down the road in Memphis, does not necessarily mean that the offender is from the Memphis area, the North Little Rock area. It could literally be from West Coast to East Coast. And he just happened to, crime of opportunity, came upon Tracy selling magazines, got her in the truck, and whatever happened, unfortunately. Once again, this is all my opinion. Feel free, once again, to let me know what you guys think. All right. That's about really all the information that we have, unfortunately, on Tracy's case. I did find on websleuths.com. Any of you have never checked out WebSleuths, it's an excellent website for information about different cases. A lot of people post, of course, it has threads on any number of cases, missing persons, homicides. But they do have a thread for Tracy's case. So I just took some things that I found interesting that were posted on her thread. It said that Tracy had been working for the company was actually called Epic Subscriptions. Robert Blair, who was the manager, owner of this company / Tracy's boyfriend, said that at the time, he had owned it for about 5 years. Epic Subscriptions uses Atlantic Circulation Inc. as a clearinghouse to process these magazine orders, however this all works. There was also a link to an article or an excerpt from an article just talking about this traveling magazine sales in general, and about some of the dangers. And one other case, not related to Tracy's case, in my opinion, because I believe it happened in New York. But it says and I believe this article is either from 2017, 2022, somewhere around there. So for the last several years, the National Consumers League has warned parents and teens that traveling sales crews are too dangerous for young workers. And I have to say, I do agree with that. The discovery last week of the remains of Jennifer Hammond, who was only 18 when she disappeared from a sales crew 6 years ago, heightens our concern about the safety of traveling sales crews for teen workers. Jennifer Hammond was one of those teenagers who knocks on your door, tries to sell you magazines. In August of 2003, coworkers at Atlantic Circulation Inc., which whatever traveling sales crew she worked for, was also associated with this Atlantic Circulation Inc. Once again, don't make anything out of that. It's just apparently this Atlantic Circulation Inc. handled most of these, maybe franchises or whatever you would call. Like I said, I have absolutely no knowledge I don't remember these traveling sales crews that back in the day in the early 2000s, maybe 1990s. I have no clue how they work. But at any rate, in August of 2003, co-workers at Atlantic Circulations Inc. Dropped Hammond, who was a native of Littleton, Colorado. She had been dropped off in a mobile home park in Milton, New York. She failed to show up at the designated pickup spot 2 hours later. 6 years later, a hunter had found some bone fragments and teeth in a forest in Saratoga County, New York, and forensic specialists identified the remains as Jennifer Hammond's. Now, I have got to do some research on Jennifer Hammond's case. This is the first time I'd heard of her case, but at the time it said local police were investigating the case as obviously a homicide. So I just thought that was interesting, talking about the inherent risk and dangers that come with these traveling groups. Now, this last one, take it with a grain of salt. And you see, I blocked out the name and the face of the person that posted this. Not that I think this person is not telling the truth, but so like I said, just take this with a grain of salt. But I thought it was interesting nonetheless. And it was posted on January 9th, 2022. It says, "Hi all, I'm just sharing some information that I got today. I run my own blog for missing people and unsolved homicide cases. And today I received some information from a woman who believes that her ex-husband was responsible for Tracy's death. Allegedly, this woman told whoever, this poster, she told me how he confessed to her, to the ex-wife, that he had taken the life of someone before. Now, I don't know if he was referring to Tracy or to Tracy and another taking the life of somebody else. And that this woman, the ex-wife, also said that he had allegedly had a violent side, and she could see it being a reality that he could have been the one to be Tracy's offender. The person who posted this said that they did forward the message along with contact information for this the lady, the ex-wife. She did forward it to the FBI and the North Little Rock Police Department. And as she put at the bottom there, I hope that this brings justice for Tracy. Like I said, take this with a grain of salt. But anytime anybody gets any information like this, it is always the best thing to do, obviously, is to do just like she did, forward it to the proper authorities and to let them look into it. Now, whether they looked into it, I'm sure they did. Whether it came to anything or not, we don't know. Could be it didn't come to anything, or maybe authorities or investigators thought maybe, but didn't have enough evidence to, we all know how that works. But I just wanted to include that little bit of information in there nonetheless. So that is basically all the information that we have about Tracy. Like I said, I just wanted to get it out there. It's been like I said, a couple of years. 2022 was the last time when they came out with this information. The FBI came out saying that they thought it could possibly be a truck driver that was the offender. That was the last most recent articles that I could find. So I just wanted to, so it's 2024, once again, 2 years. So I just wanted to get Tracy's name back out there, back in the spotlight. So please, anybody who's not going to stick around for the comments and questions part, thank you for watching. Please share this anywhere and everywhere you can to get Tracy's face, get Tracy's story out there to as many people as possible. There are I did come across 2 or 3 other episodes or other creators on YouTube who a few years ago had done Tracy's case. Share those too. Anything you can any news articles. Like I said, all the articles, source articles I used are linked in the description section. So share. That is the most important thing. And also liking, sharing, commenting, all those things help the information reach as many people as possible. So once again, anybody who's not going to stick around, thank you for being here. I appreciate it very much. Now, let me get a drink before we get into the questions and comments. So the FBI, before I forget, is offering up to $25,000 reward for information leading to the arrest and conviction of the individual or individuals responsible for the death of Tracy Onawa. And it's actually, her middle name is Onawa. It is not Owana. It is Onawa. If you have any information regarding Tracy's case, anybody who may have been responsible, any information at all, no matter how small you think it might be, please contact your local FBI office or the nearest Well, it says the nearest American embassy or consulate. You can contact the Little Rock FBI field office. And I don't think it may be on the, hold on, let me go to my slides and see if the phone number for the, down to the right side. I saw it. Oh, I made it too big. That went off the screen. Okay. You can contact the Little Rock field office at 501-221-9100. So that is the Little Rock FBI field office. All right, let me go back and get into comments. Make sure I'm back at the top where I was before. Okay, wait. Just trying to get back to where I was in comments in case my laptop poops out on me. All right, let me make it through your comments. I apologize for the sniffling. Like I said, once again, allergy season down here in Arkansas. Going through comments. Thank you, Lisa. Miss Lisa Joe said thanks. I've tuned in a couple of times and like what you guys are doing. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, ma'am. We're just try to do our best to I try to do my best to be open, honest, transparent, and do this the right way for the right reasons to get this information out to the best of my ability. And I couldn't do it by myself. It's not just me. It's all the other wonderful creators that are like Arctic Fox 2 Crime, who's here, any other creators who may be here that I haven't got to yet, the community, the people who not only just that you don't even have to subscribe, although it does help. Everybody who watches these videos or these live streams and hears this information and shares it out, that's the most important thing. Share to get this information out to as many people as we can. But thank you, I appreciate that. Sorry, I keep playing with my hair, but it's yeah. Arctic says so many missing from. Yeah, I've been noticing that. Arctic says so many missing from the Carolinas. Andrew Tinch was unfortunately found deceased. Yeah, I think I saw that on one of your. I was looking at your community page earlier, and I think I saw that. Very sad. Very, very sad. Yeah. Talking about small towns earlier, Chris is right. He says if you live in a small town, everyone knows you and your business. That is very true. Very true. I can relate. Lisa Joe said my town is technically so small that we don't have a post office, so we're grouped in with another one. I'm probably exaggerating how small it is. No, well, you're probably not exaggerating much. We do have a post office in the town I live in, but we do not have red lights, intersection red lights. All we have is stop signs. We do not have a red light in this town. Here's you new. Hey, you new. Good to have you here. I don't know if they're still here. Let's see. I'm only about 30 minutes or so behind in comments. That's not too bad. Welcome, you new. You new is also another good channel. Please go check her out. Does good work over there. Absolutely. Ms. Peggy said, I've traveled all over the USA with my significant other for several years. A truck stop would definitely be a good opportunity. Yes. Like I said, I am very, very familiar. Probably I'm only maybe 30 to 45 minutes up the road, down the road from Galloway. I've stopped there numerous times. It's always so busy with all the trucks coming in and out, the traveling, especially during the summertime. When you have all the travelers stopping in, getting gas, snacks, drinks, whatever the case may be, and then all the truckers in and out. Galloway is a very, very busy place, and it's just so easy, unfortunately, for somebody to go missing from there. And there was something I was going to mention about. I think I forgot to mention during the slideshow. Let me go back and see. I think it was concerning or had to do with where she was found was not where her life was taken at. Probably on one of the first slides. Put this down for a minute so I can see my slide. Yeah, it says on this slide, it says the location her body was discovered was not her place that her life was taken. So I was going to make the point, I would assume, or just, I hate to use the word assume, although I use it a lot. I would theorize that most likely, especially if it was a truck driver that is the offender, well, we know what happened to Tracy, but I would assume that it would have happened, whether it be a truck driver, a serial offender, which I'm not convinced of, or just a non-truck driver, a crime of opportunity. I would assume that it would have been done in the vehicle. If it was a truck driver, most likely done in the truck. If it was a non-truck driver, whatever vehicle the offender was driving, he did what he did. Said that she was SA'd, unfortunately, and stabbed and blunt force trauma to the head. And I'm assuming that they know that she was not killed where she was dumped is because probably the lack of blood that they found where she was dumped at. They said she was partially nude, so I'm assuming any clothes that weren't with her, most likely in the vehicle, whatever vehicle that may be, that she was in. And once again, going back to scenarios, I can very easily see, especially a truck, because I know at least around here, the parts of 40 that I travel, it is not unusual for any time of night or day to see an 18-wheeler, a semi pulled off to the side of the road, either with the splashers on, or, if it's at night, they put out those fluorescent triangles. Be very easy, most likely during the dark of the night, pull off on the side of the road, either put your flashers on or set up the fluorescent triangle things, go around, take her out of the passenger side of the vehicle, which would be closest to the ditch, the embankment. It would shield you from traffic passing. Be very easy. Tracy was only 5 foot something, 110 pounds, if that much. Be very easy to just take her out of the truck and leave her in the ditch in the semi-wooded area, get back in your truck and be on your way. So that is one of the unfortunate parts of this case. But that's just my 2 cents on that. Please let me know in chat what you guys think. And once again, to go up. I think my laptop is gonna poop out on me. Let's see if it's highlighted up here so I can take it down so I can well, maybe I went too far. Oh, there it is. Okay. Oh, it's not up there. Okay. My laptop is behind. All right. Peggy says that I'll have to try to find your channels. Took me a long time to find Southern Gal. Well, I'm sorry it took so long to find me, but yeah. Most of the channels, I can't remember if I put news in there yet. You can definitely find Arctic Fox if you go to the homepage of my channel. Scroll down to where it says visit our friends below. I have all my special friend links there with their channels. Arctic is definitely there. I said I can't remember if I've added new yet. I'll have to add hers in there. I mean, you can just go search on YouTube. Just put new in, and it'll bring it up. See if I can get my laptop to work again. Yep, new said, telling Miss Peggy it's exactly as you see. Oh, I'm hitting things I don't mean to hit here. Let's see. Just going through. Yes, absolutely. Miss Peggy said some truck stops can be scary. Yeah. I said even the one at Galloway, we don't actually, when we were back in the day going to concert, coming back from North Little Rock from concerts, we wouldn't go to the truck stop. We would go to the right across the street. There's what I call a regular gas station, and we would stop there. And like I said, there was always more. There was at least 3 of us usually, depending on how many of us went to the concert. Usually it was 3 to 4 of us, so we would be in a group. But there would always be some kind of law enforcement, whether it be a highway patrol officer or a Pulaski County deputy car sitting at the gas station across the street just for security, for protection, just in case. So I agree. They're very thank you, Miss Lisa Joe says, always appreciate the advocates who are in this for the right reason. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, thank you. Yep. When I started my YouTube journey as far as true crime goes, of course, I always say before I even got into the true crime, I just got on YouTube to watch my 80s hair bands videos and my puppy and kitty videos. And then when Idaho 4 happened, that just blew my mind because nothing like that had happened that I knew of in so long. I devoured everything they showed on TV, every news article I could find on Google. When I ran out of that, that's when I turned to YouTube, and that's how I found the YouTube true crime world creators. And I quickly learned who to watch and who not to watch. I don't do the sensationalism. Don't do the clickbaiting. No drama. No BS. You stick to the facts. And to me, that's the right way to do it. Which is all that I told you about the my special friends link channels that I have linked. All those channels linked there. The same mindset. They do it for the right reasons. Lisa said she looked it up. It's around 700. You talking about the population of your town? Lisa said, I think I'm actually a township. Yeah, I've heard of townships. Yeah. Thank you, Miss Peggy. Miss Peggy says, bunch of, so she will definitely share. Thank you, Miss Peggy. Thank you, thank you. Oh, wow. Miss Peggy says, I was very fortunate, had to walk to the building alone one night. A guy started running up behind me. Two drivers got out of their trucks with firearms and chased the creep away. Oh, I'm so glad that there was somebody there. Some good guys there. Wow. Miss Lisa says, I do research. I've been on a podcast to help spread awareness, but I like staying behind the scenes more. Hey, what you do? Spreading awareness. And then didn't you say you were a genealogist? I don't know if you have anything to do with like the genetic genealogy part of it, but genetic genealogy fascinates me. Any kind of what I call the CSI part of it, the forensics, the genealogy, genetics, DNA, all that kind of stuff fascinates me. And Mr. Steve, True Crime Web, is former law enforcement and former CSI. So I've learned a lot by listening to him and watching his videos and live streams. Awesome. So you said yes for a genetic genealogy. Outstanding. I might have to, at some point, if you would be willing to come on and talk about like I said, I'm fascinated with the genetic genealogy, and I think it's starting to be accepted more now, as far as the public databases being used to either help identify offenders or get their family tree and try to identify offender from a family tree, if I'm understanding how that works, or to identify victims. And in my opinion, I understand the right to privacy and I respect everybody's privacy, but in my opinion, if using these public databases using genetic genealogy can help potentially identify or at least get an idea of an offender or help identify a victim who's not been identified yet, I'm all for it. But that's just my opinion. But I respect, everybody's opinion is welcome here. If you don't agree with it, that's fine. Lisa said that's how I found Melissa Highsmith. That name is very familiar to me. That name is very familiar. I'm gonna have to look it up, but I know that I've heard that name. Miss Lisa says, I agree. Besides, no one wants to clone any of us. Yeah. I mean, and my brother, I have two younger brothers. My middle brother here a few years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, he submitted his DNA to one of I can't remember which one it was, to one of the public databases we basically know what we are. But he submitted his DNA just to get, and I think, I don't know if he told me or I've been told that on some of it, I don't know if it's on all of them, but on some of the public databases, it will ask you, basically, if you give them permission for law enforcement to use your DNA. Now, like I said, I don't know if that's on all of them or just some of them, but I have no problem. I would submit mine. In my opinion, if maybe I'm just cynical because I've been with true crime so long, but if you haven't done anything wrong, why would you have a problem with law enforcement using, having access to your DNA? That's just, once again, my opinion, the way I feel. Okay, Miss Lisa said she was abducted from Fort Worth in 73 or 72. I will definitely, yeah, I've definitely heard that name before. I'm going to have to research it. Oh, wow. Okay. I'm definitely going to have to research it. Lisa said we found her alive after 51 years in November of 22. Wow, wow, wow. Definitely going to have to look into that. Yes. I can't believe I haven't read anything about that. I will definitely check it out, Miss Lisa. Yeah, Miss Peggy says, agree 100%. I love watching Mr. Steve, True Crime Web. I've learned a lot from him. Absolutely. Yes, he is. I love Mr. I just can't say how much I love Mr. Steve. I admire him. He's been such a big support for me. Love Mr. Steve and Mrs. Steve. We can't forget Mrs. Steve and baby Steve and double alt and triple alt, the whole family. Which I hope they're doing okay. And I hope, just for an aside here for a minute, I know there have been a lot of storms. They came through here in Arkansas the last couple of days, but last night and yesterday, or today and yesterday, well, I know earlier Texas got hit with the bad flooding and storms, and it came through Arkansas, made its way through Louisiana. They had some tornadoes and bad flooding. And I think today Florida and the Carolinas have been hit with some tornadoes. So I hope everybody out there, any of our friends out there, are okay. I know Mr. Steve and Mrs. Steve and the family are somewhere in Florida. Sunshine from Mind of Monsters, also a good channel. She is somewhere in Florida. I'm trying to think of anybody else out there. I know I have some of my subscribers, and one of my mods is Michelle, lives in Texas. So just thoughts, prayers, and good vibes to anybody out there that has been affected by all this bad, horrible weather. Unfortunately, we're in the severe weather season down here in the southeast. So got a couple more months of it, and it's already starting out with a bang, unfortunately. Right, Miss Lisa says, I believe only Jed Madge asked for permission. You don't need to give consent for your test to be used to ID unidentified people. However, you have to opt in for your test to be used to identify violent offenders. Gotcha. Yeah, I know I've heard the name, Melissa's name, but I'm definitely, when I get done here, going to research it some more. Miss Peggy said, I think, come up. There it is. I think Miss Lisa said it was in Texas. If you're talking about Melissa Highsmith, let me go back and see if I can find the comment. Yes, from Fort Worth. She was abducted from Fort Worth in 72, I believe, Miss Lisa said. Yep, Miss Lisa said Fort Worth, Texas. I didn't know that. Miss Peggy says she's originally from Wisconsin. There's a Fort Worth. I didn't know there was a Fort Worth, Wisconsin. Learn something new every day. All right, guys. Oh. Hey, Miss Lisa said that's where she was abducted from there, and also found there, living like 10 minutes from her mother. Wow. So just briefly, so you said they found her alive, what, 51, 52 years later? How old was she when she was abducted? Was she, you might have said earlier, and I just forgot. So is it like she was a young kid that wouldn't have remembered or known who she was? Because you said that she was found 10 minutes from her mother. Oh, I got you. I got you. So 17 months. That explains it. Because that when you said it was she was found there just 10 minutes from her mother, I'm like, it had to be then like an infant abduction. Oh my goodness. That is babysitter abduction. Wow. So let's think she was just 10 minutes away the whole time, or just where she was found at. When she was found, it was only 10 minutes from her mother. That is just unreal. Wow. Bless your heart, Miss Lisa, for all that work that you do. You and the other everybody else who worked on that case. That is amazing. Amazing, amazing after 51 years. So that just tells you can never, that's why we always say here, no matter how long how old these cold cases are, you always try to you got to keep some hope, because miracles can happen. Most definitely. Most definitely. Wow. So she was pretty much there the whole time. Mm. And she must have not, then the babysitter or abductor must not have left the house, or left the house with the baby. Wow, that just blows my mind. I'm definitely going to look into that. Like I said, I may, if I don't know if you do come on panel with creators, but if you are ever willing, if you do want to, I would love to have you come on with me one night or at some point and talk about this case. If you can talk about it. I know with Mr. Steve, because Mr. Steve at True Crime Web and the whole team that goes out with him goes out and works on, aside from YouTube content, he goes out and helps families with cold cases. And I know there are things that he can't talk about, but I would love to hear that story at some point. Absolutely. Miss Peggy said, so happy she was found alive. Most definitely. Miss Lisa said, and this was just using tests the family took, not any law enforcement tests. Miss Lisa said, we don't know what exactly happened. Miss Lisa says, I'm sure you can find a better genetic genealogist than me. Well, you're the only genetic genealogist I've ever talked to, even just through the camera or in chat. The only other, what I would call a highly skilled, trained professional is Carolyn. Once again, Carolyn from Unearthed Secrets. Her channel is linked in my friends section. She is a geophysicist, and she goes out a lot of times with Mr. Steve. She does like the ground penetrating radar and all the different kinds of things you can do with soil and testing to see, help locate remains, or if remains had ever been in a certain place. I know Carolyn went out last summer, whenever it was, when Steve and the team went out to Texas to work on the Amber Crumb case. Carolyn was with them then. Miss Lisa says, I do know some very exceptional genetic genealogists. Yeah, the only other genetic genealogist I've ever really heard of is what was C.C. Moore, the one she worked with Parabon. She had maybe 1 or 2 seasons. There was a show on, I don't know if it's Discovery. It's on one of the satellite channels. It showed how she did her work with using the DNA and building the family trees to help identify people or solve cases. But that's the only other genetic genealogist that I could name by name. Miss Lisa said she is a clinical laboratory scientist in her day job. I've been on searches with Lisa Yellowbird Chase and her cadaver dogs. Excellent. Yeah, Miss Lisa says she didn't know. Am I getting the name right? Is it C? I know it's CC something. CC Moore. Miss Lisa says she doesn't know her, but definitely know who she is. Yeah. All right, guys. Let's see. We're almost 2 hours in. I'll do my little bit of my. Oh, P9's popping in. Hey, P9. How are you doing, my friend? Long time no see. Glad you're popping in. You have to catch the replay for the case, but I'm glad to have you here. I was just fixing to go through some of my little bit of my shameless plugging before and let people get last comments and goodbyes in before we get out of here for the night. But welcome, P9. Good to have you here. All right, so if anybody's got any last comments, questions, goodbyes, whatever you want to say, I'll do a little bit of my shameless plugging. Once again, if this is your first time here, if this is your cup of tea, please consider subscribing, liking, sharing, commenting. All those things help the channel. Most importantly, sharing is the most important thing you can do to get this information out about cases like Tracy's and all the other missing persons and cold cases that I share, that these other wonderful creators share. That is the most important thing you can do, is share. Once again, you can find me if you have any questions, comments, a case that you would like me to cover. Email me, southerngaltruecrime@hotmail.com. Give me the name of the victim, what state, town it happened in. I will research it and do my best to share it some way, somehow. Once again, find me on Facebook. Also at Southern Gal True Crime, the group and the page. The group is more active. I post more in the group than I do on the page. If you'd like to help support the channel to bring more awareness to the missing in these cold cases, you can find all my donation links. I believe I put them in the description box. They can also be found on the about page, about section of my channel. I think that is all my shameless plugging. So we'll get back to comments for a second. P9 says it's good to be here. Good to have you here, my friend. I'm sorry you're coming in late, but that's all right. I'm gonna have to get off here though. Oh no, Miss Lisa, you didn't sidetrack anything. No, you didn't sidetrack the. No. It's fascinating to me. Like I said, I don't know. Like I said earlier, I don't know if you ever come on panel with any creators, but if you ever want to at some point, come to talk about what you do, I'd love to have you. But if you don't feel comfortable or don't want to, that's perfectly fine too. Absolutely. All right, guys, I'm going to leave you here with this information about Tracy. Like I said, the most important thing you can do is share this video, share this information so it can get out to as many people as possible. So today is Thursday, right? Because I woke up this morning thinking it was Wednesday and that I was gonna do this tomorrow, Thursday. I probably won't be able. I'll probably Sunday night. I will do a True Crime Sunday around 8-ish Central Time. So we can I can get caught up with you guys, chat with you guys in chat. What I call my True Crime After Dark, so my True Crime Sunday or True Crime Saturday. A little looser format. I'm not concentrating on just specific missing persons or a specific case. I just gather some articles I find during the week that I think are interesting, and then we try to get caught up, or you guys usually get me caught up in cases that we are following that are in the news. So probably Sunday night around 8 or so, I'll have a True Crime Sunday, not too late live stream. Like I said, it'll probably start about 8 8:30, probably around 8, since it's on the Sunday. People have to go to work on Monday. Thank you, Miss Peggy. Miss Peggy says, take care, stay safe, everyone. Absolutely. Thank you, Miss Peggy, for being here. You're most welcome, ma'am. Thank you, everybody that was here. P9 for dropping in. Miss Lisa. I know I'm going to forget somebody. Go through these comments. Michigan Wifey was here. Chris Gideon, thank you for being here. Octopox True Crime was here. I'm just doing these off the top of my head. I'm trying to go through comments to make sure I don't forget anybody. Probably going to repeat myself. Miss Peggy. Unu, thank you for being here. Definitely check out Unu's channel and Arctic's channel. Make sure I didn't forget anybody who may have come in at the beginning. Critter Critiques, good to have you here. And there was another, who was it? A new name that was Michigan Wifey. Sorry, guys, I'm just going through. I don't want to, I always makes me feel bad if I forget to thank somebody for being here. Maybe I did get everybody. I thought there was another one that snuck in. If I forgot to mention you, I'm so sorry. I think I got everyone. So until Sunday, everybody, thank you for watching. It's very much appreciated. I appreciate everything you guys do. When I say guys, I always have to say, when I say guys, I mean guys and gals. I appreciate everything you do, supporting my channel, all these other wonderful creators' channels, watching our videos, our live streams to get this information out. So until Sunday night, please, everybody, take care of yourselves. Be careful out there and take care of each other. That is the most important thing we can do, is take care of our fellow human beings. I love you guys, and I will see you Sunday night. Bye-bye.